Welcome to the Totally Honest Cooking Show. I'm Mark. Today we're celebrating 200 subscribers. Yay! Pew pew pew! Pew pew pew! Okay, we're done. We're going to celebrate by doing something special. I was going to do the omelet episode finally, but I failed at omelets again. Eventually I'm going to release a supercut of all the times I've failed at omelets, but not today. Today we're doing Doritos Locos Migas. I don't think I can call it that for legal reasons. So today we're going to do Advanced Migas or Crazy Cheese Chips Migas or something like that. So we're going to start with a couple links of Salvadorian chorizo. You can use Mexican chorizo if you like it a little bit spicy. If you've been watching this show for more than a year, then you know the first episode of this show was the Migas episode. And I want to show you how you can just evolve your recipes over time, how you can change things. You know, if you're a new cook. If you're not a new cook, then, you know, you already know this stuff, right? But it's still fun. We're still having a good time. Plus, I get to eat some migas, which I don't know if you know this. Migas are delicious. So I'm starting, like I said. Sorry, I got on a tangent. Sorry. Anyway, we're starting with a couple links of Salvadorian chorizo. I'm probably going to use 3 of these links because they're kind of small. And if the casing falls off, the casing falls off. I'm making little cubes. They're easier to cut when they're cooked, but you lose a lot of the delicious fat and oil if you do it that way. Unless you cut it in the skillet, which is not very good for your knives. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way, and hopefully it'll work. Now I've got my cast iron next to me. I'm just going to throw this in there. I'll break it up with a spatula later. Okay, next we've got this very girthy, somewhat underripe plum tomato. This guy you're just gonna dice up. And we're just gonna dice up our tomato. Once you've got it diced, the best thing to do is to move it over to a bowl suspended with a mesh strainer. Give it a little salt. It'll make it a little better. Mix around our sausage. Next we've got some green onions. I'm just going to use these bits. Okay, throw those in there. We got a poblano pepper. I think that in the first episode I did research on this and said that this was some sort of shepherd's meal. That sounds right, if I recall. This is one of those things I love to make. And once you get the rhythm down for it, it's actually pretty quick. You know, all things considered. The first episode, when we made the non-Doritos Locos version of this, it only took about 20 minutes. That was back when I was barely editing the videos, or Jerkins wasn't even hired yet. Now, obviously, with a lot of these dishes, you can make it your own in whatever way you want, right? The first time I made this, there was no chorizo. Today, there's chorizo. Next week, there might be refried beans. You don't know, right? And that's kind of the point that I want to push out there for my 200 subscriber special. Cooking grows on itself. Give that a little mix. In a minute, we're going to add some more cooking oil to this. You don't want just the chorizo fat because it will just get stuck on the bottom of the pan. Next up, we got the jalapeno. Now this is where the heat comes from. I'm not a big heat guy. Jalapenos aren't particularly spicy, but they can sneak up on you or surprise you. So I recommend, if you're not a big heat guy, getting rid of at least the seeds, if not the seeds and the thingy. I recommend coring your jalapeno unless you like spice. Personally, I like my migas with Cholula. So my spice comes from Cholula. Cholula is mild. Ribs. They're called ribs. Yeah, the things in the core that I couldn't remember 2 seconds ago that it was perfectly designed for jerkins to cut it. They're called ribs. Okay. Dice your jalapeno in case I didn't say it. Toss that in the bowl. Make like Taylor Swift, take this over to the garbage and shake it off. I'm going to add 3 cloves of garlic. You can do these however you want. I'm going to crush them because that makes more garlic per garlic. Anybody who watches this show a lot knows more garlic per garlic if you use the garlic press. So now that everything's pretty well along at this point, I'm going to get ready to add my eggs. But first, I got a second skillet coming up, which I wish I wouldn't have oiled it first so I could show you the cool design on the bottom. But that'll have to wait till next time. I'm going to put this on over medium heat so I can get my tortillas ready. I recommend a bunch of tortillas. Just get a bunch of tortillas. Okay, I got 4 jumbo eggs and 2 tablespoons of milk. We're going for a fluffy scramble. And that was a whoopsie doodle, but I got it in the bowl, so I'm going to let it go. Missed a lot of yolk there, though. Okay, with that cleaned up and my shame hidden, I'm just going to whisk these real quick. I'm just going to pour it on in. I should have brought the skillet back up to temp before I did that. It would have solidified almost immediately if I had. So pro tip, bring it back up to temp first. I turned it down a little bit so that I wouldn't burn the chorizo. Well, that's going. Get started on our tortillas. At this point, you may need to add more oil just to make sure it doesn't get stuck. Give your tortilla a flip. Mind these. Now the star of the show, our Doritos. Okay, I'm just gonna fill this bowl up, then I'm gonna crunch them, move them around a little bit. I'm gonna add half of this to the eggs. I'm gonna toss in my tomato. Give everybody a good mix around. Give my cilantro a quick chop. And I'm just going to throw that in. I usually like this with some sort of cheese. So I'm just going to use this. I know that it's not pronounced cojita, but I don't remember how it's actually pronounced. So Jerkins will have to correct me. Normally I would use a cheddar or a Monterey Jack, something like that. But again, I forgot it. Okay, that's pretty good. Finish my tortillas. Slice the lime. Don't forget to slice your lime. It gives you much better pictures for the gram. Okay, once this looks finished, you're just going to pour the rest of the chips over top. Spread them around a little bit. Little work later, we've plated it, and we have some Doritos Locos Migas. We have some crazy cheesy Nachos Migas. Yeah. Taco Bell, please don't sue. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate 200 people subscribing. Click the little bell, leave a comment down below. Remember, just because you did the recipe and you finished it doesn't mean that you're done. You can go back and have fun with it. I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.